Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening or whatever time it is when you're watching this. This is Worship and Wellness, where we believe in biblical principles with practical steps. I am Marcus, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host. Would you like to introduce yourself?
It's me, guys. It's Jakara.
Shakara.
Happy
Shakara.
Monday.
Yes, indeed. Happy Monday, indeed. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Jakara. How you feeling today?
I made it to the gym, so it's a good day. It's a
Oh,
good
you
day.
winning. You winning.
It's a good day.
Most
How
definitely.
about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I did not make it to the gym.
It's
Um,
okay.
we're gonna try again. We're just gonna keep on trying, right? Uh, but I did have a good day. Felt productive today, so that's always a good thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. So today we will be talking about something I think we all can relate to:
Hmm.
stress. We'll be talking about stress, guys. And that's any age. I'm sure you can relate to this in some way, shape, or fashion. Stress will try to take you down.
Yeah, for real.
So today we'll be talking about what stress is. We'll be covering things that may cause stress, how it can show up physically, and then last but not least, we'll be talking about some tips and tricks and some things that you could do to kind of try to mitigate and cope with that stress that's trying to take you out.
Not take you out.
It tries.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start by saying what stress is, right?
Okay.
And stress, it's the body's natural response to any demand or challenge, triggering physical or mental reactions. So anything that kind of causes your body to put your body in shock or, like say, fight or flight kind of
Hmm.
reflexes, that kind of thing. Um, when stress comes on, I believe it increases cortisol levels and adrenaline, um,
Yep.
all those kind of things, and gets you going. And like I said, it triggers that fight or flight response. Um, Depending, you have anything to add to that?
Um, I would just say like it is like a state of worry. So like, okay, if we're gonna make it in the most simplest terms, right, for a kid to
Let's do it.
understand. um our bodies react to certain things like an alarm clock. So like if things happen, like say it's a your body get into an accident and your body goes into that adrenaline or that fight or flight, right?
Hmm.
Your body's not supposed to stay like that every day. That's very unhealthy. So that's what we're talking about, the stress portion of like it's not supposed to be reacting every day like that. You should be able to reduce yourself back to a baseline. But when people are stressed, they're stuck in that fight or flight mode every day. So that's all I got to add about that.
I love
And
it.
there's two different types. So there's normal and there's chronic. So normal is like, the occasional stress you might have, like, oh, we're running late, or oh, I got to make it to my kids. I don't know. What are they doing now? Concerts? It's
Yeah,
concert
we're doing all kind of stuff now.
you know so I gotta plan an egg hunt. Easter is coming up, you know what I'm saying? So that could be stressful, like, but that's good stress, like this is something that you want to do. It's gonna
Yeah.
motivate you to have a positive result. But chronic stress is prolonged. You know what I mean? Like, what's something that you might think it's chronic stress, Marcus?
Chronic, maybe being overwhelmed at work.
True.
Maybe your caseload has just become heavier, and you're unable to manage it like you used to do with your old caseload, whatever that looks like, whatever your occupation is. Um, that could be chronic, of course, because it'd be ongoing
Yeah.
until you figure out what you're going to do to deal with that stress. And that's not always easy to figure out
Right.
what you're going to do, which kind of sends you in that circle of it's becoming stressful on a regular basis.
Right. I found a statistic which I found like kind of shocking, but I feel like it's increased more now. 62% of adults reported that they felt stress in 2024. You
Yeah,
feel you feel like that's accurate?
yeah. I feel like that's accurate, but I'm with you as far as um, I feel like it's more. There's a lot going on these days, to
Yeah,
say the least. Right, right.
definitely.
But with the stress, I mean, people aren't always able to identify it. as to why the behaviors are changing, right?
Right.
Um, and you have to, that goes into knowing yourself and knowing what you're like what you said, you come back to baseline, you gotta know what your baseline is, right?
That's good. Everyone's baseline is not the same.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah. So that could be skewed by that, by people not even knowing it's stress,
Right.
not even realizing it's stress. Okay,
So
so I did so what causes the stress response in the body? So it says your brain detects a threat. It signals the body to release hormones, like I said earlier, like cortisol and adrenaline. So your body and your brain working together, right? God made the body so intricate and so beautiful, um, that we still learning things about it, right?
definitely.
But you have to, like, yeah, you gotta learn yourself. You gotta learn yourself. hmm And I like how you touched on stress not always being a bad thing,
Right.
right? There is good stress, right? So I love the fact that you brought that up. That is something that I just actually learned very recently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that yeah, some things can cause you to, like I say, be motivated.
Right.
Maybe you have if you're in high school, maybe you have a big football game or something, and the anxiety and the stress levels are up. But then you go out there and perform, and by the end of the game, they're gone, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
even by maybe by the first quarter, first play, whatever the case is. Like you mentioned earlier, we have the chronic stress, and then we have the stress that's only around, for a limited time.
Right. I found another statistic. I don't know. I just felt like getting some research today.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let's go on.
Some they reported an average stress level of 5 out of 10. Do you feel like what affects that? Is that true? An
So give it.
average score.
So you saying on average, that's where we're operating from?
Most people, yes.
Most people. I would um I would think that's true. I would think that's true. Because it's hard. It's not easy to always know what to do to bring your stress down. And like I
Right.
mentioned earlier, sometimes you don't even know it's stress, right? Um, yeah. I would think that's true. What you think about that?
I don't
What's
know. Now that I'm
what's your
getting
stress
older,
level?
now that I'm getting older, I feel like there's new things to stress about. Like, but you know what I'm saying? This is a different type of adulthood that I did not ask to be born into. I'm experiencing a lot right now. So my stress level would probably be at like a 7. But for someone that's been on this earth longer, I think a 5 is, you know what I'm saying, normal, maybe.
We would like it to be lower, but I say baseline. A five is probably pretty normal. Like we can keep mentioning, it's so many things going on. Uh, Adulthood be adulting. Um, yeah, definitely a lot of things to stress you out.
For sure.
Okay. And yes. So let's go on to some of the things that cause us stress.
True. Let's go there. And you guys respond in the chat too. Tell us what do you think are some reasons why you are stressed?
Yes, indeed. So we spoke that there's many of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, whether it's work pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether we're talking about our finances, what kind of ties into that as well. Um, Family issues,
Yeah.
kids.
Say it one more time. One more time.
Kids. Yes, Lord. Yeah. So yeah,
That
it's a lot
I
of
would
things floating around. Go ahead.
I would also say like the political climate right now is very stressful.
Yes.
And I know we some people don't want to talk about it, but it's the reality of the situation right now. The political
Yeah.
climate is definitely adding more stress in addition to the economy right now. And the instability of jobs right now is definitely stressful for a lot of people. So that's why I feel like the percentage is probably a lot higher right now for a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah. You throw especially throw that political piece in there.
Yeah.
And not even just speaking to who is the president and
Mm-hmm.
all that. I mean, just the way the world is, the way the world
Right.
is. is evolving in both good ways and bad ways. I mean, it's a lot of things going on.
Right.
If you do, you look into some things, you'll be able to see. But I mean, we got tariffs going on, we got inflation. The
Mm-hmm.
inflation ties back into the financial piece. Am I going to be able to afford eggs? Am I going to be able to afford these things that I need to survive?
Right.
Am I going to be able to take care of my family? Right. Um, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. Um, Even life transitions can cause us stress. As far as say you get a promotion at work. I know you're going back to the work piece. I don't know why, but say you get a
It's
promotion, you get a promotion at work, right? You see where you can see where some of my stress is coming from.
mine too. I'm with you. I am with you.
So you get a promotion at work, but I mean now you're in this new position that now you got to figure out am I can I do it can I do it efficiently the way I was doing the other job?
Mm-hmm.
Are people going to be accepting of this new position? It's other things that come with that. So when you thought it was a good thing, it kind of became a little stressful on the back end. So you got to watch out for that because those are the kind of things that slip in, like I was talking about earlier, where you might not even understand that the stress is coming or even know that it is stress that's causing you to, do this and do that.
That's so good because it's like it goes back to the good stress. Like it is a promotion. You do get more money possibly,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more responsibility, and it's kind of a different angle of maybe a broader scope of your job. You know what I mean? Like you're in your mind, you're so used to doing this one thing when you come into work. Now it's an additional thing. It's like, well, why did they hire me to do this? Like, do they think I can do this? Okay, so make it till you make it every day.
There you go. There you go. Most
Every
definitely.
day.
That's golden right there. um, Also, I'm gonna speak about something that that we all probably participate in the social media piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kind of like the expectations, on social media, you gotta understand that people are showing their best selves. They're not posting their, you know, for the most part, the bad things that are going on. So that kind of creates this false reality, unrealistic expectation kind of thing, right?
The highlight reel.
Yes, yes, indeed, the highlight reel, and that alone can cause us stress. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that we don't even realize is happening because we're so programmed to just scroll and look at different things, and we're ingesting all of these
Mm-hmm.
things, and they're sitting on our mind whether we know it or not, and they're kind of shaping and forming the way we think about things, and all that kind of good stuff.
That's a
So,
good point. I think that's a lot to do with teenagers right now. Like
mhm,
that
yes,
constant dopamine hit of like
yeah,
I can
there you
just
go.
scroll on Instagram and get another, you know what I'm saying, another like. And the lack of attention span is like, oh, I can only imagine it's stressful for them in school too, of like
Yeah,
trying to concentrate. But they have the AirPods in, trying to listen to the teacher, headphones on. Like how I don't know how it works, but it works for them some kind of way. But I
yeah,
can only imagine it being stressful. Like,
yes, yes. And that's kind of like we have to be mindful for our kids,
mm-hmm.
and even talking about these things because they may not even know that could be a source of their stress,
Right.
right? Because they're still learning things. So yeah, it's important definitely to filter down into the children, especially the teenagers and the ones coming through middle school,
Yeah.
but at all ages. But yeah, definitely them because I mean I can imagine the stress they're going through in middle school and high school these days
Mm-hmm.
with the attached to with the social media and just the progression of where they're at. I'm 40 years old, so back in the day,
Really?
yeah, I'm 40. I'm 40 years
You
old.
look good, sir. You look good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I mean, our in my middle school and high school was a little stressful, right? But
Mm-hmm.
nothing. I can imagine at least it's nothing compared to what they're going through with all the technological advancements and things like that. The things they have access to is at their fingertips. It's crazy.
Literally. Another point I wanted to add for the littles is like they're testing soon. So like the stress of trying
Yes.
to pass these tests to make it to the next grade or some of them to graduate, it's a lot to like take in, and you know what I'm saying, that transition from high school to college is different too. Even from college to the workforce, that's a different transition as well. So just for
Mhm.
parents to keep that in mind of, I know we're getting closer to spring break, we're getting closer to summer,
Mhm.
but the littles are probably a little stressed right now too. And knowing what the signs are for that is important.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, definitely encourage as you learn, pass it
Mhm.
on, because I mean, I know I my I was never passed the information on, right?
Mhm.
But at some point we have to change the cycle. We got to break the cycle in it and pass that information on. You may think they're too young, but if you think about it, like I said, the information that they have at their fingertips, they're already
Mhm.
past. They're really past that. They just
Definitely.
haven't had anybody to catch them up to speed and give them those little nuggets. So the fact that they have access to all those things, it can eventually become overwhelming. Um, not having the tools to navigate it and cope with it, those kind of
Mhm.
things, for sure. All right.
So we're gonna get into the physical response, how it looks.
Yes. Let's look at
Okay.
it. Let's get into how it looks and how it manifests in our body on a physical piece.
Okay.
All right. So give us some common symptoms of stress.
So what I found was stress can look like increased heart rate,
Hmm.
muscle tension, mostly around your neck and your shoulders. That's where I've noticed it for myself. Um, that also shows me when my neck and my shoulders get tense, or like I think I'm starting to get sick as well. So that might be, what I'm saying, a correlation with the stress and a weakened immune system.
Yes.
So like sweating also, and then elevated blood pressure. So
Okay.
for those of you that might be feeling those things, definitely take into account. What do you have?
Yes. So pretty much the same things. Headaches,
Mm-hmm.
fatigue. We have lack of sleep. Maybe you find yourself your sleep patterns is a little different, right?
Right.
Maybe you find yourself waking up super early and not being able to go back to sleep, or maybe not being able to go to sleep in the first place. Um, and experience insomnia and things like that. So yes, it can definitely throw your whole schedule off. It could throw your everything, your balance off, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like for me, at one point I was waking up super early every day. I was waking up like 3 or 4 in the morning. I was broken sleep, and it was stress related, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I started listening to sleep music at night and kind of trying to um, get that before you go to bed routine down,
Mm-hmm.
right, because that's important how we go to sleep. I mean,
That's good.
if you're scrolling social media right before you go to sleep, all that light, all that I think it's a white light, that kind of
That's blue light. That's me.
blue light.
That is me. I'm trying. I really am. I be so tired.
Yeah. Yeah, the blue light action. But yeah, things like that. Just getting your bedtime routine together. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think will support with a better night's sleep and kind of mitigating that stress level. Also prayer, of course, right?
Definitely.
Worship and wellness, going to the throne, asking God, hey, you know, just clear my mind, heart, mind, clear, all that good stuff.
One thing that I found that was like interesting to me as a physical response
What is that?
was digestive problems. So if you have chronic stress, that could lead to digestive issues. So maybe not being able to, do
Mm-hmm.
those things, or more stomach aches. It takes longer for your food to digest. Lower metabolism, so you're not, digesting your food as fast. Um, which could definitely manifest. I never thought about it like that, but it
That's a
definitely
good.
happens.
That's a good one. You wouldn't think stress will mess with your digestive, system. That's a good one
Definitely.
because
Um,
those are things that we might not be looking out for, right?
yeah, definitely. So were we getting into, you said prayer, right?
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
were also saying,
yeah.
I think I would just tell people to recognize when you are stressed. And I know that's kind of hard if you grew up in a family that normalized stress or like
Mhm.
normalized just working, and not taking your rest.
Yes.
Which I think we're kind of in that culture too of like we're just gonna grind.
Hustle, yeah, hustle, grind, yeah.
Yeah,
24
until
hours, yeah. Till you lay it up somewhere.
okay, we don't want we don't want y'all to do that. We want y'all to take some time, get some rest, go to sleep.
Yes. Yes, please do that. Please do that. Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, it can come out in our skin, right? Our
Hmm.
hair. Hair. I know you from stress, her hair falling out,
Yeah.
things like that. You know, the acne and the breakouts of the skin. Um,
Hmm.
all those things stress related. So you gotta stay cool to keep that skin, keep that skin smooth.
Exactly. Don't let these people stress you out.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It is
Don't
not
do
worth
it.
it.
You gotta figure out what calms you down and make sure you're doing that. um,
Also, one more thing, like
Go ahead.
I knew someone that was like highly stressed, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the point where they were having like allergy attacks. Like their body was just anything they ate, they started breaking out in hives. And I'm like, it's gotta be stress related for you. Like she was under a lot of stress, like with her family, with her work life,
Mm-hmm.
no ways of like, you know, mitigating it or trying to regulate it. And her body was just rejecting everything. So before it gets to that point, like definitely take into account of how you can if you can't eliminate it, try to reduce it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And we start talking about it manifesting in the physical,
Mm-hmm.
like that. Now we're talking about risking like it's really life or death if we're talking about allergies,
Definitely.
right? Talking about your airways closing that like that's life or death.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then I know we spoke about earlier, weakening the immune system.
Mm-hmm.
Make you more likely to get sick or heal slower, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have here. You said you talk about the breathing with the allergy, circulation and breathing, um, increased heart rate, like you spoke earlier.
Man,
Okay.
I just read a lot of your stuff, huh?
Yeah, yeah, you did. I'm skimming like that. She's trying to
That
take
means we did
over.
good research. We did good
Yeah.
research.
Yes, yes, yes. It definitely made, yeah, yeah, it definitely made me dig. Of course, I know what stress is, but I mean, when when you have a topic, then you do
Mm-hmm.
your research. It's like, oh, word, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Is that what? That's related? Yeah, it is. It's kind of crazy. All right, so we spoke about the sleep piece. Um, okay, okay. Oh,
More
okay.
about the sleep.
Go ahead.
More about the sleep. Like,
Go ahead.
I don't think I realize how important it is to get enough sleep. Like, my husband tells me that all the time, like, Jakar, you need to protect your sleep. You need to protect your sleep. But I have that like mom guilt. Like when all the kids go down, he sleep. I just want a little time for myself, you know.
I ain't mad at that.
But it's not healthy to stay up that late and be scrolling on my phone, doom scrolling. So I got to figure out a balance of
Yes.
how it's gonna work.
Oh, and speaking from the man, I know earlier you mentioned the always hustling and grinding and stuff. We talked
Mm-hmm.
about that as men. I feel like that's kind of we take stress on and we're taught you have to shoulder it because you're a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're taught that just suck it up, deal with it, bite the bullet, whatever you want to say, and just keep it moving, kind of thing. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as men, we have to be around for our families, right? So all these things that we spoke about can manifest from stress. You don't want to end up, going through these things too early and end up in a condition to where you're not able to look out for your family and you're not able to hustle or grind so as men, I think it's just important that we keep that in mind and kind of let go of the old stereotypes and things like that, that we have to shoulder everything, and all that, and just be quiet and take it and just keep it moving, kind of thing. So that's an important message I wanted to give to the men.
Yes, we want you around. We want you around for a long time.
They want us around, fellas. You hear
Yeah, as much as we say get away from us, but we want we want you around.
Oh shoot. Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. Uh okay, so this is the fun part. Now that we did some education, right? We talked about
Hmm.
what stress is. We talked about how it manifests in the physical. Now let's go on to some things that you can actually do to relieve stress, right? And
Okay.
if you have anything that y'all want to put in the chat, go ahead and drop it in there. What do you do to relieve stress? That kind of thing. Um, so let's start there. What do you like to do that relieves stress, Jakar?
Um. Well, I've newly found working out. I know I've said it in the past, but I'm trying to stick with it. And um, it definitely helps with like my work life balance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've noticed it just gives me that time for myself in a healthy way and not, in a negative way. Um, but I also like to listen to music. I really want to get back into like coloring. I know it seems real childish, but it really is a stress reliever for me. Like the adult coloring books, not like Mickey Mouse, but
Not calling Mickey and Minnie. sometimes Mickey and Minnie.
Eh, for the kids, for the
Okay,
kids,
of course for the kids.
for the kids. What are you doing, Marcus?
Awesome, awesome. So I'm definitely big on the music piece.
Yep.
Music just always been my thing. It's always calmed me. Um, always brought me relief. So music, I'm trying to get more into the meditation,
Okay.
just sitting quiet, and allowing that to, engulf me. So I'm working on that piece. Haven't got it down yet. I don't know if it's the ADHD or what, but I'm trying.
I think I got a touch of that too.
Yeah, a little sprinkle,
Same.
Yeah, definitely that. We also so we want to talk about some things that like hiking, right?
Yeah.
Hiking. I know there's the Gwen Falls Trails runs all through Baltimore. If you're in that area, um, BWI, they have a trail that goes pretty
Oh,
far around Glen Burnie.
okay.
Um, yeah, that starts at various places. It runs past Molly Station Mall. It runs up past the airport. It over off Dorsey Road. You can get on
Hmm.
it right there. I think that's where a lot of people get on rail there, Dorsey Road, at a basketball course and things like that. Um,
There is one in Annapolis, I think Quiet Waters Park. They have like a trail.
okay,
I don't know the road. Y'all just look it up because
look at
I'm not
Google.
good with
Google is your best
road.
friend.
But Quiet Waters Park, just go touch some grass. Really, get out in nature. Like
Yes,
ground yourself because
yes.
it's all consuming sometimes, and just stepping outside and feeling the wind, like being mindful of, or not even a mindful, like being aware, take it in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Taking the time to clear your mind during those times and be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Be in the moment during those times. I mean, God created this world and it is beautiful the way everything works together. Take that in.
Yeah.
Take that in. Um, and then of course, you have your traditional things like your breathing exercises. When you feel stressed out, breathe in, count to four slowly, exhale,
Mm-hmm.
those kind of things. Like you mentioned, the coloring, the drawing piece, we have things like that. Um, I would like to get into the exercise and the walking and things like that.
You could
Again,
do it.
something I struggle with. I'm working on it. I'm working on
You could do it. I also found aromatherapy. Um,
Ah,
like when I was in California and we lived there, and I was, in labor or whatever, they had different like aromatherapy sticks. So like you can just use them, like just wafting. like when it gets a little stressful, or like those oil diffusers that
Yes.
people have in there. That's very helpful too. Like it's a very subtle way, but I think it helps like set the tone. So if you want to start your day off with that, that could be something that works. A lot of people use, what's it called? It's like a mind jar. So basically, you can just put glue. It's like a lava lamp, but you're using it in a more aware space. Like you're actually watching the colors fall, watching those things.
Okay.
So just some different stuff if people are open to that.
Like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay. And then we have, stretching,
Hmm.
yoga. I know a lot of people do the yoga thing. Um,
Crocheting, make something. I know a lot of people that crochet.
being creative on, yeah, definitely be creative. Explore, explore leisure activities. Take the time to do the things that you enjoy. That's another piece that's major. Um,
Hmm.
a lot of times life happens, right? And we kind of let those things go,
Yeah.
because we feel like other things are more important, right? But you always have to remember, like, it's your job to make yourself happy. So if that's something that you enjoy, like for example crocheting, um, and you haven't picked up the crochet needles in a long time because of kids or because of work,
Hmm.
maybe it got you demanding, but you distinctly remember that, those, when I'm finished whatever I'm making, it makes me feel good, right? It
Hmm.
makes me feel fulfilled, fulfilled. And we have to take the time to do the things that we do enjoy.
Definitely.
I think that's major for sure.
I found some other little tips. If we're going there.
Here we are.
Okay. So I found, it's called the 555 rule, and I
Okay.
don't know if anyone's aware of it. It states if it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it.
I
Which
like
I
that.
was like, oh, check me. But
That's
I
good.
think it's gonna work. Like literally, if this thing is not gonna change within 5 years, why are we spending 30 minutes to an hour worrying about it? You know what I mean? So I think that one was helpful for me to just focus on what I can control in that moment. If I can't control anything, then feel your feelings. Don't judge yourself for the emotions that you feel. Like let them come in, feel them, and then, move on.
Yes, I love it. I love it. This is our resident social worker, people. I love it, man. Your
Yeah.
insights just be so powerful, man.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Another thing that I believe that people struggle with that we have to do better at. This is a tip and a trick. Learn to say no.
Yes.
Learn to say no. And that's something that I even struggle with. And I still struggle with from time to time. Um, because I like to take care of people,
Hmm.
make sure everybody's good, especially within my family unit. My peoples, my brothers, quote unquote,
Hmm.
my cousins and stuff. I like to make sure people's taken care of. So I try to hold, like when somebody asks me to do something, I used to. I mean, it always used to be yes. Now I'm learning that no is actually very powerful, and no is okay. It's
No,
okay.
it's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay if that's gonna tip my plate. You know what I mean? And I can't do that one. I'm not really in the space for that. Um, because again, those things can cause you stress before you know it. Before you know it.
That's good. I
Mhm.
had to, people want to like engage with people too. Like, don't overextend yourself if you don't have the capacity. Just don't do it.
I like that.
Because
I,
sometimes it's just a no. It's just a no.
sometimes it's just a no. Because the crazy part, like you said, the over explaining piece can cause you stress. Because you
Yes,
have to explain why you're saying no, right?
it, it should
And I
be
never even
okay.
think about that. Yeah.
Wow, that was profound, Marcus.
Yeah,
Just say
absolutely.
no.
Absolutely. Just say no. Just say no. Hmm. So do you have any other tips or tricks?
Um, really just focusing on what you can control, like what is in your immediate control. And I did find some scriptures that can help in those situations, or when you're doing your mindfulness or your meditation,
Hmm.
um, to think on them. So if I can pull them up,
Give it to us.
um, I have Matthew 6:27. It says, "Can all of your worries add a single moment to your life?" So think about that 5-5-5 rule. Like, if it's not gonna matter in 5 years, why am I spending more than 5 moments about it? Like, it's not gonna change anything.
Come on now.
And then I found, hold on, we're moving. First Peter 5:7. Give me a second.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
I said, give all your worries and cares to God, for He cares about you. He cares about the little stuff. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like, I know we always talk about the big stuff and how it's so overwhelming, but it could be the little thing that just tip you over. So just give it all to Him because He cares about it. What do you got?
Yes, indeed. Um, let me see. Hold on. I'm find mine now. I should have been on point with it. My bad.
No, we Bible scholars. We finding it in real time for y'all. Real time.
Yes, sir. What I have, but nothing makes me lie. So I have Psalms 23, 1-3. The
Mm-hmm.
Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. And this speaks to just speaking to the Lord. Of course, this is worship and wellness, like I mentioned earlier. So, the spiritual piece is essential.
Mm-hmm.
Give it all to Him. Give it all to Him. Like you said, He cares for us, right? He's gonna make sure all those things, are released. He'll take them on, right?
Right.
He'll take them on so we do not have to.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, actually, thank you, Lord. Absolutely. And this the crazy part is that's quite easy, right? That is an easy button to be able to just close your eyes or
Mm-hmm.
whatever your prayer looks like, literally give it to Him,
Mm-hmm.
and then you ain't gotta worry about it no more. Like
It's supposed to be easy.
it is. It's supposed to be easy, right? Right.
Well,
But
for me, I'm gonna just speak for me. It's supposed to be
yeah,
easy.
no, it's supposed to be easy, and I think that goes for everybody because when you like we speaking about earlier, sometimes you don't even know you're stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes back to knowing yourself, right? It always kind of turns around on knowing yourself, which takes time. You
Mm-hmm.
you have to be intentional about learning yourself. If you're not intentional, you may never know yourself, and that
Yeah.
sounds crazy, but it's
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. If you don't know what makes you tick, if you don't know if something's placed here, this side's gonna go up, or vice versa, that could be catastrophic.
Right.
That could be catastrophic.
Definitely.
Okay.
But I would also say to that point, like, if you have close friends around your family members and they notice something,
Yeah.
let's not be so in denial or so defensive that we can't hear people when they're like they care about you.
We right. I like that. I like that.
Like, be open to, and this is for me too, criticism or just mindfulness about, okay, hey, you haven't been yourself in a while. Like, let's take some time and like figure it out
Yeah.
together. If you feel like they're supportive of you.
Hmm. And We always say that all these things work together. So that goes off the
Mm-hmm.
social wellness piece of having the right people around you
Definitely.
that you can trust when they say something like that, that is for your better good and there's no ill intent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's definitely the utmost important. Like you said, be open to criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Be open to criticism. The criticism is another thing that it's not, it's not always bad, right? It's not always bad. And a lot, honestly, a lot of times it's good if delivered correctly, um,
Okay.
and received correctly as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
If both sides of that transaction are genuine, a lot of times the criticism can be helpful if you're able to reframe and it's coming from a trusted source,
Definitely.
so to speak.
Able to look at it in a positive way.
Hmm. Okay, okay. So I mean, I think we covered quite a few things tonight. So we spoke about stress, what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about how it can manifest in the body, how it looks, so you're able to identify it for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And of course, it can come out in a whole bunch of different ways. We have plenty of things that stress us out in this world. Um, know yourself, right? We spoke about some things that you can do um, in the home, out in the community. Some of these things you could do when you're by yourself, right? Um, some of them even group activities, right?
Right.
Y'all can relieve stress together, right?
Let's all go shopping.
So
See, we didn't say shopping, y'all. We did not say
we
shopping.
did not say shopping. We did not. Yeah, but I mean that I guess that could be some people's stress reliever.
Is
It,
it healthy?
that's the question. That's the question. That could be subjective for sure.
Definitely.
um, do you have anything that you want the people to take away, or do you have anything that stuck out to you, or anything you want to make sure they take with them tonight? I think we at the point of wrapping it up.
Yeah, I think that 5-5-5 rule is definitely sticking with me. If it won't matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it, and to cast all our cares on the Lord because He cares for us. So that's my takeaway.
Yes, I love the 5-5-5 rule. Just so you know, that's an awesome way to think about. I mean, a lot of things like that
Mm-hmm.
that'll alleviate a lot of stress. Because
Mm-hmm.
five years is a long time now. It ain't a whole bunch of stuff that's going.
Yeah.
At least not in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I love that. I'm definitely gonna take that one with me and use it. Um, definitely, you want to give all praise to God, all glory, all stress, lift it up to Him.
Yes.
He gonna handle that for us, right? And I know I said it a bunch of times, but know yourself, learn yourself, know what makes you tick, know what stresses you out,
Mm-hmm.
and try your best to stay away from those things, which is not always possible because stress comes in many different forms that we spoke about. Um, but just try your best to kind of steer clear and dodge it. And if it does happen, you know how to handle it. If you know it's if you already went through the situation or the
Mm-hmm.
in your head, this is gonna happen. Okay, if this happens, I know this is gonna send my stress through the roof. Now I know I need to take a walk, or now
Definitely.
I know I need to do some deep breathing.
Make
Um,
a plan. That's
yeah,
good. Make a plan.
and yeah, that's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at. Make yourself a plan for sure. Okay, okay. Yeah. I,
Well,
I think that's a wrap for the night, Jakara. I
it's a
definitely
wrap.
I definitely appreciate you being my wonderful co-host. I appreciate your insight, all that good stuff. You always add in so many things to the conversation. Um,
Likewise.
thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate everybody for coming out, everybody for watching, whenever, wherever you're watching. You guys be blessed and have a wonderful evening.
Good night.
Peace.